Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Curve. I got some great videos for you today. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's do it.
By the power of Grayskull.
No way! That's great! We landed on the moon!
That's not supposed to be this close. It's right above us, right?
The sun isn't 94 million miles away.
The sun is local. I know. Don't believe your eyes.
We were also prohibited from taking photos or making videos there. We drove south for 6 days until we reached a wide river with unfrozen water. The river was about 2 kilometers wide, and the water was warm, emitting thick steam. A real miracle. Ice and snow are all around, and the river is warm. The head of the group forbade touching the water, saying that there was radiation. But what was on the other side of the river gave me goosebumps. There was a massive metal support about 2 kilometers high. The leader said that such supports are installed around the Earth every 53 kilometers. Supporting the dome? What dome? I asked. Watch carefully, he said. Indeed, if you look closely, you can see that the sky looks like glass or blue plastic. And from time to time, fireballs flew by, rapidly soaring up the surface of the dome. I pretended to go to the toilet and slid behind an ice floe. I started shooting on an old hidden mobile phone. However, the phone was old and the camera was bad. This is what I managed to capture. This video was shot from the same angle, from the same river, but not on an old phone and not in 2002. It was in 2017, and the quality is excellent.
In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. I functioned in a dual-role capacity as a tradesman and a firefighter. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented, but I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do. Vehicle detection. We're learning that these off-world craft, on-world craft, ours or other nations, are also emitting neutrinos. So this makes the South Pole Station effectively an air traffic control station for this new level of equipment that nobody's discussing.
Vehicles from the other side of the ice wall?
Did you know that one of the most respected U.S. Navy officers claimed to have seen something impossible during a flight over Antarctica? In 1947, Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd commanded Operation High Jump, the largest Antarctic expedition in history. 13 ships, 4,700 men, and dozens of aircraft. But on one of his solo flights over the South Pole, Byrd broke radio silence. He described flying over vast ice fields. Then suddenly, a valley without snow. Mountains surrounded it. The air grew warm. His instruments went haywire. In his private journal, never meant for the public, he allegedly wrote,
"We saw land beyond the pole, a place not marked on any map."
Shortly after the mission was abruptly ended, Byrd returned to the U.S. and testified before Congress, warning,
"The greatest threats may come from the polar regions."
Some say he was silenced. Others say he saw something that changed his understanding of the world forever. But one thing is certain, he flew farther than anyone before him, and may have come back with secrets we were never meant to know.
"1945, Antarctica. Maybe one of the reasons no one is allowed near. According to Russia, Antarctica is not what we're being told. There are hidden secrets. Apparently, according to Russia, there's hidden continent underneath the ice of Antarctica. Fact checkers deny this. Many people think that this is where an ancient civilization lives. Russian scientists then found hundreds of lakes underneath the ice of Antarctica. Scientists drilled down through the ice and reached the biggest of the lakes. It is said that they took 10 years, and they put an elevator in there. They found a creature so dangerous that it uses venomous to kill its prey.
Oh, there's some secret information coming out about Antarctica. Tell me more. Yeah, there's more top secret information as to why people can't go to Antarctica and why everybody around the world is prevented from going there. Okay. Yeah, it's being said that there's way more lands beyond Antarctica. Okay. And that only certain people get to go there and live there. Okay. It's being said that beyond Antarctica, people would age differently, much slower. Gravity's a little bit different. Time's different. Different beings are there. Different animals and species are there. Okay. What's really interesting is it's been reported that certain ice there, if you were to consume it, it would heal you of anything and you would basically be able to live forever. Okay.
I've never really believed in Jesus or done the whole church thing, but I think I've seen the stuff you guys are talking about here. I just didn't know what it was at the time. I was in the Army from 1997 to 2000, and I was sent to McMurdo Station in Antarctica. I was a helicopter mechanic and crew chief, and they had volunteer tours open for guys to go there and work on the helicopters there. When they asked for volunteers, a bunch of us applied, but only me and one other guy got accepted. The application process had a bunch of questionnaires that we had to fill out, and we had to sit for a bunch of one-on-one interviews. It was mostly just a bunch of questions about what our interests and beliefs were. I was sent to McMurdo Research Station in August of 1998. When we weren't busy de-icing the aircraft and working on them, we had time to hang out with the scientists at the research station. The military unit attached to McMurdo was small, and we didn't have our own separate facilities. We didn't have a PX or a media center. There was no chapel or chaplain, and we didn't have our own separate mail room. We just had to share the same facilities with the scientists and researchers. So over time, I got to be friends with a few of them. They had two different kinds of ice that they worked on and studied. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear or sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice. This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue.
He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear thick, heavy, going outside gloves to handle it.
Antarctica has been a hot topic on the darknet recently, and for good reason. The latest leaked footage shows something unbelievable: massive cargo ships entering enormous tunnels carved into the ice walls, only for these passages to mysteriously disappear shortly after. But what's really down there? According to a sailor who worked these secret routes, beneath Antarctica's frozen surface lies an entire network of advanced cities. The architecture eerily resembles ancient Egypt, but the technology is light years ahead of ours. Workers were seen teleporting cargo instantly using handheld devices that defy our understanding of physics. The crew whispered about it being some kind of border crossing, but to where? The truth became clear when someone leaked classified maps revealing Antarctica's true nature. It's not a continent at all, but a colossal circular ice barrier enclosing our entire known world. This changes everything. Is this immense structure meant to keep humanity contained, or is it protecting us from something far more terrifying on the other side? One thing's certain: our understanding of the world just got turned upside down.
They're hiding an entire city behind Antarctica's ice wall. And now, footage has finally leaked. For years, rumors swirled that behind the miles-long Antarctic ice wall lies a lost metropolis no one's supposed to see. But recently, something strange appeared, not on the news, but buried deep in the dark web. Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth, with winds so strong they knock people down, is suddenly swarming with military and scientists from multiple nations. Why? There's an ice barrier stretching thousands of kilometers, and hidden within it are massive tunnels wide enough for ships to sail through, heavily guarded, off limits, and something is still being studied right now. But then, this video leaked. At first, it looked like a standard polar base, but after zooming in and removing the blur, what they found shocked one. It wasn't a base. It was a full ice metropolis, buried beneath the Antarctic snow. Who built it? What's being kept from us?
Yo, that's insane. I'm not afraid of snakes, but I might be afraid of that one. Yeah, where'd all the snow and ice go?
Buddy, look. Just look at the timeline of our recorded expeditions to Antarctica. It tells you everything. James Weddell, 1824. Charles Wilkes, 1840. Started off as these rational lone expeditions, right? But then all of a sudden we don't go back for nearly 100 years. And when we finally returned, it was with Admiral Byrd's naval expedition known as Operation High Jump. Now tell me, why do you think we would halt expeditions for a century and return with an entire fleet of naval forces if it was just a cold, desolate land with nothing going on? Because this wasn't just another explorative expedition, it was a planned confrontation. Okay, we already knew they were there. We wanted to show up and appear threatening for leverage in a peace treaty. Fast forward, Byrd comes back and, dear God rest his soul, but he passes away no more than about a decade or so later. And if you think that's a coincidence, well, I just don't know what to tell you. Cut to present day. Nobody's allowed down there. Can't even approach the vicinity of the continent. And the Antarctic colony is still thriving as they've been for, God, thousands of years.
What if I told you there's a continent that exists outside the parameters of our sun? A place of eternal night where an entire civilization lives in absolute darkness. Welcome to Panthea.
Where the hell is that?
Thousands of miles beyond the ice wall. Look, these people aren't cavemen. They're a fully functioning civilization, but one built without warmth, without mercy, without the distractions of color and joy. The Panthean capital, Nixara, is a sprawling city built from black stone and bioluminescent crystal, its buildings towering like jagged monoliths into the sky.
This can't be real, man.
I wish it weren't. The Pantheons themselves are far more terrifying. They're a horrific biological offshoot of humanity, a version of us that evolved to survive in total darkness. Pale-skinned, almost translucent. Their eyes and bone density are about 5 times larger than the average human. Sickest part is they have energy harvesting farms. They survive off their own people. What if I told you that none of us are from Earth, that the inner lands, the 7 continents we call home, are a prison intentionally populated by the descendants of those who once ruled the lands beyond the ice wall? We are not natives of the inner lands. Long before recorded history, when the explorer Richard Constantine discovered these 7 continents, discovered the lands within the ice wall, he orchestrated what has come to be known as the Great Placement. Constantine understood that control could not be maintained outside the wall in the ancestral lands. Civilizations beyond the ice wall grew too complex, too defiant, and too unpredictable. He realized with these untouched 7 continents, he could create a containment zone, an engineered world within the ice wall, designed to keep its inhabitants isolated, manipulated, and obedient. So, he devised a chilling plan: harvest embryos from the ancestral lands and populate the inner lands with carefully controlled, compliant humans. Richard would raise the first 2 embryos up into their adolescence, 1 boy, 1 girl, and then leave them to the wild to fend for themselves. This is where we get our Adam and Eve stories from. See, Richard wrote biblical stories about what he was doing with us, about how he was creating us. In these stories, he spoke of himself as this godlike figure, and he left these stories riddled around the 7 continents.
Riders on the storm, riders of the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, and actor out alone.
Realmente pudo haber cambiado la historia humana. Barrington encontró el portal o el pasaje hacia las tierras detrás de la Antártida. La República de Hierro, historia de una utopía detrás de la Antártida. Fue publicada en 1902 y nos cuenta la extraordinaria historia de Mr. Barrington y su viaje en los años 1800 a la Antártida, donde encontró el pasaje o The Summer Gate, pudiendo navegar a través de los muros de hielo, encontrando una civilización muy desarrollada del otro lado. ¿Historia real o ficción? Lo que voy a contar no tiene desperdicio, ya que de ser real, confirmaría que existen tierras detrás de los muros de hielo, donde incluso hay civilización avanzada con los que Barrington contactó. Pasemos a conocer la historia en profundidad. Barrington fue un abogado y político, y se sintió traicionado en el sucio ambiente de la política que conocemos todos, y que en esos tiempos también era igual. Tal es así que Barrington decide dejar toda su carrera atrás, y enojado o decepcionado también con la humanidad en general, decide comprar una embarcación que llamó Wanderer, y decidió emprender su viaje hacia algún
The Ice Wall and Beyond. Part 1.
August 1946. Esteemed U.S. Naval officer and explorer Admiral Richard Byrd, one of the first pilots to fly over both the North and South Poles, organizes Operation High Jump, the largest expedition ever to travel to Antarctica. With 13 ships, 23 aircraft, and over 4,700 military personnel.
I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
This is a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you...
Why do 90% of explorers never return from the ice caps? The story you're about to hear might just explain why. Deep in the frozen heart of our planet lies a colossal ice wall shrouded in mystery and danger. It hides a secret humanity could never have imagined. An ancient civilization thriving beneath the icy veil. A young explorer, driven by relentless curiosity, breached this icy barrier, uncovering both wonders and horrors. Picture this: cities flourishing under the ice, ancient artifacts from Egypt, Greece and China, perfectly preserved. Their technology is 300 years ahead of ours, allowing control over nature itself, earthquakes, volcanoes, even the weather. Flying vehicles that defy gravity, medical breakthroughs that halt aging, and artificial intelligence with capabilities far beyond our own. But behind this breathtaking beauty lies a darker truth. An empire with unmatched power collaborating with our world's elite to control both realms. As their army looms, secrets unfold, shocking revelations of their intent and their ties to the very governments we trust. Imagine the awe, the wonder, and the chilling reality of a world where the line between ally and enemy blurs. This hidden ice civilization is not just a marvel, it's a cautionary tale of power, control, and the unknown. Stay curious, but remember, some secrets are hidden for a reason.
Well, those are all the videos I have for you today. My thoughts on the videos. The sun is clearly local. When I hear sky ice, I think firmament. So it tells me the scientists in Antarctica are down there studying the firmament and trying to figure a way to break it so we can get out for the elites or whatever. Beyond the ice wall, there's more land, different civilizations, different species of humans, unknown creatures, crazy creatures. There could be a entrance to a hollow earth there. All kinds of things. It's just I know that we don't live on a globe, and I know nothing is what they tell us. And other than that, there's a lot of stuff that they hide and that we don't know about, and I wish we did. Those are the videos I had. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.